everyone and welcome back. In previous lecture, we had learned about the saving function, which is also known as propensity to save. So in today's lecture also, we will continue with the same topic and we will learn about the types of propensity to save. So there are two types of propensity to save. First is marginal propensity to save, which is the topic of today's lecture, and the second one is average propensity to save, which we will discuss in next lecture. So what is marginal propensity to save? So marginal propensity to save refers to the ratio of change in saving to the change in income. So what is it? It is the ratio, and ratio of what? Ratio of change in saving to the change in income. I will write the formula for marginal propensity to save. Marginal propensity to save is the ratio of change in saving to the change in income. So that means, what does it show? It shows that fraction of change in income which is spent or which is not used for consumption, rather than it is saved. So we can write MPS for marginal propensity to save, and change in saving can be written as delta S, and change in income can be written as delta Y. So we will try to understand the concept of MPS using a numerical example also. Suppose my income is rupees 10,000, out of which I am consuming 8,000 rupees. So I will left with 2,000 rupees and my saving is rupees 2,000. So we know Y is equal to C plus S, and 10,000 is equal to 8,000 plus 2,000. Now suppose my income increases to rupees 12,000. In that case, I will spend a fraction of this increase in income on consumption also. Therefore, my consumption has been increased to rupees 9,000, and rest of the amount will be saved by me, that is 3,000 rupees. Now, if we have to calculate the value of MPS, that is marginal propensity to save, in that case we will have to calculate the value of delta S and delta Y. So first of all, delta Y is Y1 minus Y0, that is 12,000 minus 10,000 will be 2,000. Now delta C will be, this is 1,000 rupees. So this value is delta Y is equal to 9,000 minus 8,000 is equal to 1,000, and here also 3,000 minus 2,000 is equal to 1,000. So this is delta C. This 1,000 plus this 1,000 is equal to delta S. So if we know that Y is equal to C plus S and delta Y is equal to delta C plus delta S. So what MPS shows, MPS shows that fraction of income which is saved, or which turns into change in saving. So if you have to calculate the value of MPS using this data, so change in saving is equal to delta S upon delta Y. Change in saving is equal to 1,000 and change in income is equal to 2,000 rupees. So it is 1 divided by 2 is equal to 0.5. It means that if my income increases, I will save 50% of the increase in income. My income has been increased up to 2,000 rupees. So 50% of 2,000 is saved. That is 50% of 2,000 is equal to 1,000, which is saved. Now if we have these values, if we have got the value of MPS, then we can calculate the value of change in saving also. Now from this formula we can derive the formula for delta S. Now suppose if we have to calculate the value of delta S, then it will be MPS into delta Y. We will just cross multiply. What will happen? We will take, if we have to calculate the value of delta S, we will cross multiply MPS and delta Y and we will derive this formula. So suppose if we have to calculate the value of delta S, now delta S from the given example and value of MPS which we have calculated is 0.5 and delta Y is 2000 into 2000. Then delta S is 1000. 0.5, that is 50% of 2000 is equal to 1000. So if we have got the value of MPS and delta Y, in that case we will be able to calculate the value of delta S. Now in the same way we can calculate the value of delta C also. So if we have to calculate the value of delta C, that first formula will be MPC, because first I will write the formula of MPC, marginal propensity to consume, which we had learned earlier in the earlier video. So the formula is delta C upon delta Y. So if we have to calculate the value of delta C, formula will be MPC into delta Y. Now we will try to find out the value of delta C using the same formula. So delta C will be MPC. Value of MPC is equal to 1 minus MPS and is equal to 1 minus 0.5. Since the value of MPS is equal to 0.5, so I will write it in bigger font. MPC is equal to 1 minus MPS. Now value of MPS is equal to 0.5, so we will get the value of MPC also 0.5. 1 minus 0.5 is equal to 0.5. So if you have to calculate the value of delta C, we can multiply by using MPC into 2000. So that will be delta C is equal to 1000. The value is same because we are consuming. Change in consumption is 50% and change in saving also 50%. That is why the value of delta C and delta S is same in this example. Now we can understand the concept of marginal propensity to save using a diagram and schedule also. So the formula for MPS, I will write here, MPS is equal to delta S upon delta Y. First of all, we will make a schedule of MPS. It's very important when you're making a schedule or a diagram, always write the title of the table or diagram. Now first of all, I'm using the same table which we have used in previous lectures also. Income level 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 and 600. Now consumption is equal to, I'm not writing consumption, I'm writing saving directly. Saving is equal to minus 80, minus 60, minus 40, minus 20, 0, plus 20, plus 40. It's the same table which we had used in last lecture. So I'm not calculating saving separately. Now since we have to calculate the value of MPS, we will require delta S and delta Y. So one column will be delta Y and next column will be delta S. Now the value of delta y is equal to, in first column there will not be any change, and I'll write last column is marginal propensity to save is equal to delta s upon delta y. Now 100, to calculate the value of delta y, we will subtract the value of y0 from y1. So what will happen? What will be the value? It will be 100. Again we will subtract 100 from 200. So it will also be 100. 300 minus 200 is equal to 100. 400 minus 300 is equal to 100. This will also be 100 and this will also be 100. Now 60 minus 80 will be 20. Minus 40 and minus 60. It will be 20. Minus 20 minus 40. It will also be 20. This will be 20. This will be 20 and this will also be 20. Now we will find out the value of MPS. So 20 divided by 100 is equal to 0.2. Since all the values are same for delta s and delta y, so all the values will be same. Here also 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2 and 0.2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And one more 0.2. So MPS at all level of income is same, is constant. It's not changing. That is why the saving curve which will be derived from these values will be a straight line or a linear saving curve. Now first of all we will try to make a diagram also. This is x-axis, this is y-axis and this is also y-axis. This is point of origin. On y-axis we are measuring saving and on x-axis we are measuring income. Now we will draw a saving curve, that is S. Now if we have to calculate the value of MPS, marginal propensity to save, is the slope of this saving curve. What does it show? It is the slope of this curve and it shows the change from one point to another. Suppose this is a point A. At this point income is Y1 and saving is S1. So this is the value of income. At point A, income is OY1 and at this level of income, saving will be OS1. Now suppose income increases to OY2. There is an increase in income. In that case, there will be a movement on saving curve from point A to point B. Now due to the change in income, there will be a change in saving also, because saving has a direct relationship with income. When income increases, saving will also increases. Now we will see S2. So S1, S2 is the change in saving. Now if we have to calculate the value of marginal propensity to save, we will draw a line here and name it as C. Now this distance from B to C, this line which is from B to C, is parallel to the y-axis. That is why it reflects delta S. That means it shows change in saving. The distance between B and C is equal to the distance between S1 and S2. That is why it shows change in saving. In the same way, the distance between C and A, that is AC, shows change in income. So that is why it is delta Y, because AC is equal to Y1 and Y2. So if we have to find the value of MPS on this diagram, So MPS is equal to change in saving divided by change in income. We can write it delta S upon delta Y, and delta S is BC and delta Y is equal to AC. So on this diagram, MPS is equal to BC divided by AC. In the same way, the distance between S1 and S2 is also, this is also delta S. So we can write it, and here this is delta S, and here Y1, Y2 is delta Y. So we can write it in another way also. S1, S2 is change in savings, and Y1, Y2 is change in Y2 is change in Y. So that is why S1, S2 divided by the ratio of S1, S2 and Y1, Y2 is the MPS. In the same way, the ratio of BC and AC is also and marginal propensity to save. Now we have discussed this table. We have learned how to draw a diagram and make a schedule of MPS. Now we will summarize the features of MPS in few points. First is value of MPS varies between 0 and 1. That means the value of MPS or this ratio, the answer of this ratio could be 0 also. The minimum limit is 0 and the maximum value could be 1. We will see, suppose MPS is equal to 0. This is the minimum limit of MPS. MPS can never be negative. It can never be less than 0. It is the minimum value. And when will it happen? When MPS is equal to delta S upon delta Y. So to get the answer as 0, numerator should be 0. So if delta S is equal to 0, that means delta Y is equal to delta C. So value of MPS will be 0 when the whole change in income is spent for consumption purpose and it is not saved. So in that case, delta S will be 0. So that is why when delta C is equal to delta Y and delta S is equal to 0, then the value of MPS will be 0. The second case is MPS is equal to 1. I will again write the formula of MPS is equal to delta S upon delta Y. Now, value of MPS will be 1 when the value of numerator and denominator that is delta S and delta Y are equal to each other. Suppose delta S is equal to 100 and delta Y is equal to 100. In that case, we can cancel it off and value will be 1. So, in this case, delta S is equal to delta Y. That means whatever change is there in the income, it will be saved. And change in consumption will be 0. That means change in income will not be spent for consumption purpose, rather than whole amount will be saved. So that is why this is the maximum limit of marginal propensity to save. If change in saving due to change in income is 0, then the value of MPS will be 0. If change in saving is equal to the change in income, then marginal propensity to save will be 1. Second observation is that MPS MPS of rich is higher than MPS of poor. That means propensity to save is higher in the rich people or the people with higher group of income. So that is why, because what happens is that if the income of a poor person increases, then what will happen? The poor person will spend more money for consumption purpose to fulfill his basic necessities. Because lot of necessities, lot of requirement and desires of poor people remain unfulfilled. And to fulfill, when the income increases, the poor person tries to increase their consumption and fulfill their desires. That is why they will save less or they will not save at all. On the other hand, the desires of rich people have already been fulfilled. The basic necessities have already been fulfilled. So they try to save a part of their change in income. That is why marginal propensity to save of the rich people is higher than the marginal propensity to save of the poor people. In the same way, MPS of the developed nations who are rich countries is higher than the MPS of poor developing nations which are poor countries. The third observation is, when income rises, MPS also rise. That means with the increase in income, the value of marginal propensity to save also increases, because propensity of saving is higher in the higher income group people. Now, this is all which we have learned about the marginal propensity to save. Now we will try to solve some examples. Okay, now before solving this question, we will see the relationship between MPS and MPC. So, relationship between MPC and MPS is that the sum of MPC and MPS is equal to 1. Now we will prove it, that why the sum of MPS and MPC is equal to 1. We know that Y is equal to C plus S. We all know. Now if there is a change in Y, it will be the sum of change in consumption plus change in saving. Now this is equation 1. Now we will divide both sides by delta Y. So we will try to divide left hand side and right hand side by delta Y. Now it is delta Y is equal to delta C plus delta S. We have copied the same equation, that is equation 1, and now in this equation we will divide both the sides, that is left hand side and right hand side, by delta Y. So delta Y divided by delta Y, delta C divided by delta Y, and delta S divided by delta Y. Now we will cancel out. The value will be 1. Delta Y divided by delta Y, we will cancel it out and the value will be 1. Now we know that delta C upon delta Y is marginal propensity to consume. In the same way, delta S upon delta Y is marginal propensity to save. MPS. So the addition of MPC and MPS is equal to 1. So hence it is proved that sum of MPC and MPS is equal to 1. So in the same way, if we have to calculate the value of MPC, and we have got the value of MPS. So we can use this formula. MPC is equal to 1 minus MPS. So 1 is here. We will shift MPS from left hand side to the right hand side and change the sign, that is from positive to negative. If we have to calculate the value of marginal propensity to save, in that case, if we have already got the value of MPS and want to calculate the value of MPS, then the formula will be 1 minus MPC. So if in any question you have to find the value of MPC and MPS both, then you can calculate the value of only one term, that is either MPC or MPS, and calculate the value of the other element using this formula. Now the question which we are going to solve is based on the same relationship, that is MPC and MPS. So using this table you have to calculate the value of MPS and MPC. First of all, we will calculate the value of S also. 85 minus 100 is equal to 15. 60 minus 200, 40. 235 minus 300 is equal to 65. 310 minus 400 is equal to 90, and 400 minus 500 is equal to 100. Now first of all, we have to calculate the value of delta y. Then delta S, if we have to calculate the value of marginal propensity to save. I will also calculate the value of delta C to calculate the value of MPC. Now delta y, first row we will leave blank. This in second row, 200 minus 100, that is y1 minus y0 is equal to 100. So change in y is equal to 100. Here also 300 minus 200, change in y is equal to 100. 400 minus 300 is also 100, and 500 minus 400 is equal to 100. So at all level of income, the change in income is same, it is constant, that is 100. Now we will calculate the value of delta C. 40 minus 15 is equal to 25. 65 minus 40 is equal to 25. 90 minus 65 is equal to 25. And 100 minus 90 is equal to, now it has changed, it is 10. We know that this is column 1, this is column 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the value of column 1 is equal to, column 4 is equal to column 5 plus column 6. Now that is delta y is equal to delta S plus delta C. Now we will see 160 minus 85. So 160 minus 85 is equal to 75. 235 minus 160 is equal to 75. 310 minus 235 is equal to 75. 400 minus 310 is equal to 90. Now we can check at all levels of income, the change in income is equal to the sum of change in consumption plus change in saving. That is 100 is equal to 25 plus 75. 100 is equal to 25 plus 75, and in last row also 100 is equal to 10 plus 90. So that is why the sum of delta y is equal to delta S plus delta C, and that is why MPS plus MPC will also be equal to the 1. Now first of all we will calculate the value of MPS. MPS is equal to delta S upon delta y. delta S is equal to 25 and delta Y is equal to 100. So 25 by 100 is equal to 0.25. Now here also the value is same, 25 by 100 is equal to 0.25. Here also the value is same, 25 by 100 is equal to 0.25. In last row, when the level of income is 500, then delta S is equal to 10. So delta 10 divided by 100 is equal to 0.1. We will also calculate the value of MPC and check if the sum of both the values are 1 or not. So MPC is equal to delta C upon delta Y. Now the value of delta C is equal to 75 and I will use another color. The value of delta C is equal to 75 and delta Y is equal to 100 is equal to 0.75. Here also 75 and 100. 75 divided by 100 is equal to 0.75. Same here also. 75 divided by 100 is equal to 0.75. And in the last row, 90 divided by 100 is equal to 0.9. Now, this column 7 is MPS and column 8 is MPC. Now, if we add both the columns, we will get the value 1. So, MPS, we will check 0.25 plus 0.75 is equal to 1. 0.25 plus 0.75 is equal to 1. Here also the values are same, is equal to 1. In last row, MPS is 0.1 and MPC is 0.9. So 0.1 plus 0.9 is equal to 1. So it is proved that when MPS and MPC, when we add the values of MPS and MPC, we will get the answer 1. So if we have got the value of any one out of the two, suppose we have got the value of MPS and we have to calculate MPC also, we can use the formula 1 minus MPS. We will try to solve it. 1 minus the value of MPS is equal to 0.25. The value of MPC will be 0.75. Here also it will be the same, 0.75. In last row, 1 minus 0.9, 1 minus 0.1 is equal to 0.9. So if we deduct the value of MPS from 1, the answer will be MPC. Now we will solve another example. Second question is, if MPC is 1/3 of MPS, so the value of MPC is given as 1/3 of MPS. We will copy it here. MPC is equal to 1/3 MPS. Now the second thing which is given in the question is consumption at zero level of income is 40 crore. And we know that consumption which is done at zero level of income is known as autonomous consumption or C bar. So the value of C bar is given as rupees 40 crore in the question. Now we have to derive the consumption and saving function. So consumption function is the equation of consumption and saving function is the equation of saving. So we have to derive C is equal to C bar plus BY. And the second part of the question is we have to derive the saving function. S is equal to minus C bar plus 1 minus BY. Now C bar is given in the question. B is MPC and 1 minus B is equal to MPS. Now since we have already got the value of C bar, now if we calculate the value of MPC and MPS, we will be able to derive the equations of the consumption and saving. Now we will solve this example. Now we know it is solution. We know that sum of MPC and MPS is equal to 1. Now in the question, the value of MPC is given as 1 upon 3 MPS. So we will substitute the value of MPC in this equation. So it will be 1 upon 3 MPS. So instead of MPC we have written its value which is given in the terms of MPS. So 1 upon 3 MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. Now we will solve this equation and take the LCM. So LCM will be 3. Now it will be 1 MPS plus 3 MPS is equal to 1. Next step, 1 MPS plus 3 MPS will be 4 MPS. So it will be 4 MPS and we will write 3 as it is divided by 3 is equal to 1. Now we will solve this equation. It will be, next step will be MPS is equal to 3 upon 4. We will take this value to the right hand side. It will be 3 upon 4 and the value will be 0.75. So the value of MPS is 0.75. Now since we have got the value of MPS, we will be able to calculate the value of MPC also. So MPC is equal to 1 minus MPS is equal to 1 minus 0.75 is equal to 0.25. Now we will substitute the value of MPS and MPC in consumption function and saving function and we will derive the equation. So first of all, the equation of consumption will be C bar. Instead of C bar, we will copy the value of C bar, that is 40, which is given in the question, plus B. B is MPC. So the value of MPC is 0.25. So it is 0.25 Y. So this is the consumption function which we have to derive. The second part of the question is we have to derive the equation of saving function. Now saving function is equal to minus C bar plus 1 minus BY. So minus C bar will be minus 40. So it is minus 40 plus the value, it is 1 minus BY. So the value of 1 minus B is equal to MPS and the value of MPS is equal to 0.75 plus 0.75 Y. So this is the saving function. In this way we can derive the value, the saving and consumption function on the basis of MPC and MPS. Now we will solve one more example. Now our last example is the saving curve of an economy makes a negative intercept of rupees 50 crore and 20% of additional income is saved. Now you have to derive the saving and consumption function. This is same, you have to derive the equation of saving and consumption. So C is equal to C bar plus BY and S is equal to minus C bar plus 1 minus BY. This is the question. You have to find out both these equations. Now first of all, we'll see economy. In an economy, the saving curves makes a negative intercept. So if we draw a saving curve, this is the saving curve. So it makes a negative intercept at rupees 50 crore. So what is it? This 50 is the autonomous saving. Negative intercept, it is making on the negative side of the y-axis. So that is why it is the autonomous saving. So C bar minus C bar is given as minus 50. It is given in the question. So in the same way, C bar will be 50. Now, the second thing which is given in the question is 20% of the additional income is saved. So that means additional income means that is change in y, delta y, and 20% of this delta y is saved. So it is MPS. So MPS is equal to 20 divided by 100 because it is given in 100. We have to convert it. So the value of MPS is equal to 0.2. Now we have already calculated the value of MPS. Now MPC will be 1 minus 0.2 and MPC is equal to 0.8. Now we can substitute the values of MPC, MPS and C bar in the equations. So C is equal to, C bar was 50 plus MPC is equal to 0.8 y. Now S is equal to minus 50 plus 0.2 y. So this is the answer of the given question. That's all for today, and if you like my videos, you can like it and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.